G'day, ZiggyD here and welcome back for another Evolve Shoutcast commentary. Today I have for you guys a Wraith point of view submitted to me by one of my viewers named Seth. Thank you for the replay, Seth. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate having these awesome matches, these awesome pieces of footage to commentate. So I had a quick skim through, but I haven't watched this match, so it's going to be a bit of a surprise for me just there. I really like the way Seth opened up as the Wraith just here as well. Using that Warp Blast to essentially target the sky and shooting himself up in the air and then using his dashes to get forwards to gain a lot of ground, to give himself a lot of space between him and the hunters. So a really nice way to start using those abilities to the full potential, and I think we'll see a lot of that in this particular match. Now straight up he grabs a move speed buff as well, which is going to make his sort of escaping and dodging the hunters in this first phase really good, and he's got a lot of quick feeding just here with that distance that he bought between the hunters. However, as you can see, Bucket's UAV is spotted him there, and the Wraith is going to have a really hard time getting it. He tries to wall blast the UAV, but the UAV just dodges it, and he's spending too much time trying to kill that UAV, and the hunters are going to close in on him. With that UAV having found him, even that ground he gained at the start and that move speed bonus is going to be not enough. Oh, and an excellent dome there from the Trapper, going right down on his face, literally smashing his head into it. Gets a sneak attack on the Trapper just then. If we can get him down before one of the other hunters knocks him off. The Assault does knock him off though, and he does a bit of damage to the Trapper, but not enough to take him down and take that dome down. Kind of just playing defensively here, gets a sneak attack on the Assault, goes Supernova, starts wailing on him, and then the Assault is, yes, there we go, he pops his personal shield, and he's not going to be able to do too much to the Assault there. Even backed into a corner with that personal shield up, is going to have a really hard time pushing through that. Now that the Wraith has lost half of his armor, he's just going to sort of dodge and take a moment to buy some space. Hiding behind one of the stone walls just here as the hunters sort of creep around. Is he going to go for a sneak attack? The hunters are coming out wide, which is a smart move. The Assault hasn't seen him, goes for a sneak attack, just misses, and it looks like he gets caught on that turret, or maybe just misses the sneak attack. Goes Supernova, but surrounded by the hunters just there, decides it's not a good spot to be engaging. Jumps up to where he was on the cliff before. There is Bucket's turret just there and a harpoon trap, but the hunter's not taking advantage of that just there. Looks like the dome has gone down, so the Wraith is going to be able to back off just here. Gets a quick feed with the hunters being right on top of him. Big questionable, might want to put a little bit more ground between him and the hunters just here, but is able to, a few pre-killed ones, possibly killed by the hunters earlier, or maybe ones that he whacked earlier that I missed. Going for the evolution right on top of the hunters. I don't know about this, that's a bit of a questionable play. Fills out the rest of those abilities just there, but those hunters are already on top of him. 5 seconds, he's going to take a bit of damage to his health just here, because when you evolve, you lose all of your armor. He took half a bar of health there, maybe not too bad in exchange, getting that really quick evolution, and now he knew that essentially the Trapper's Dome had been down. The Trapper's Dome was on cooldown, so maybe taking that opportunity while the Trapper's Dome was on cooldown to evolve, even knowing that the hunters were right on top of him, knowing that once he did evolve, even though he'd take a little bit of damage, he'd be able to get out of there before any real problems happen. Using that real mobility of the Wraith just there, trying to buy himself some distance between hunters, give himself some time to feed back up. Likely going to try and push for the 3rd evolution here if he can. Maybe we'll go for some engagements if he can find an opportunity, but at the moment just trying to get as much feeding done as possible. Spots the buff just there with the move speed buff wearing down, probably a good opportunity to grab this. However, the charge from the hostile wildlife just there sort of hits him and knocks him back, distracting him. Manages to get the feed and got the ability cooldown, 50% reduction on ability cooldowns, very, very powerful buff, and it's probably a decent time for him to have another little bit of an engagement with the hunters just here with that ability cooldown. He's getting charged by that wildlife though, and trying to feed on top of it, and it's just not helping because he's getting a little bit of armor but just getting knocked off straight away. The Assault jumps on him there, does a little bit of damage, and the Trapper does drop the dome down. Obviously going to be an engagement just here. The Assault goes down from the hostile wildlife though, working in the Wraith's favor just here. If he can jump on that Assault and take him out, the quick resurrection from the medic just there, but wasn't able to sort of capitalize on that down by the Assault, but still a down is a down, and that Assault is going to be a little bit weakened here. Jumps on the medic just there, goes Supernova, kind of leaves the Supernova radius, uses a Warp Blast to knock some of the hunters around. Not a really good spot for the Wraith to be engaging. The hunters can use the high ground. Pretty much an optimal spot for the hunters, really. Like, as long as they don't get caught on the low ground, the Wraith's not going to be able to do all that much, and with the armor being depleted now, the Wraith is going to back off. A lot of mines going down there from the Assault as well, so the Wraith essentially has to watch his step. Gonna take this opportunity here to kill off some wildlife and maybe get a feed, but with the hunters jumping on top of him, not going to be possible. Uses that sort of bridge section there to try and juke them a little bit. Knocks the medic away, just sort of disrupting them, but taking a lot of damage, not really getting anything done. Trying to feed right on top of the hunters, not going to happen. The dome is down, so he decides to book it out of there, but again, trying to feed right on top of the hunters, questionable plays. Really needs to buy himself some more space and more time before he can get some feeding done. Needs to put like a couple of walls, at least a couple 100 meters between him and the hunters before he can really start to get some decent feeding done. Trying for that dine and dash style, it seems, being a little bit more aggressive, but with the hunters right on his tail, a little bit difficult. So hunters are still pretty close. As you can see, still line of sight, but intelligently not firing at the Wraith, because what happens essentially, taking some shots now, it looks like the hunters have thought that this is a good opportunity, but essentially what happens is, if the hunters fire on the Wraith within a certain range, the Wraith will actually go kind of get like an adrenal boost, and will be able to use their movement ability more often. So it makes it harder to pursue the monster if you're constantly firing at them. You're better off getting yourself into a good situation and then firing at them. Unless, of course, their shields are down and you can get a bit of health damage, then that is an option. Tries for the pounce on the assault there, misses the first one, but gets the second one, but that gives the assault enough time to get his personal shield up. Very unfortunate for the Wraith, that miss. That would have been an excellent opportunity. And again, that perfect dome from the Trapper goes down right on the Wraith's face, headbutting into it again. Kind of using the mountains here to juke the hunters, and pretty good opportunity. Might be able to get some quick feeds in here before they sort of realize where he's gone. The UAV is on top of him from Bucket though, so the hunters are going to pretty much know where he is this entire time. He is being tracked by it. Again, trying to get more feeds with the hunters on top of him. Has managed to reach full armor though. Pops Supernova, goes ham on the assault, gets him down, caught the assault unawares. Maybe that personal shield on cooldown, and almost fully gets him down. Is he going to jump on him and finish it off just here? He should be able to just one more whack to finish off the assault. And, so close. There he goes. The assault is down. And this is a very good situation for the Wraith. Although his shields are about to go down very quickly, if he can also get this medic, then the hunters are going to have to scatter. They're not going to be able to push this engagement anymore. Gets the medic down, ready for another evolution thanks to the bonuses from the kills just there. Uses this opportunity to grab a quick feed, but the medic has been revived, and the support is on top of him. Bucket can dish out a lot of damage, especially if you're in one spot for too long, because he can drop those drones down that are going to keep that sustained fire on the Wraith. Pretty good that assault's down, certainly minimize the amount of damage he's taking, but he's still going to have a hard time with this lower armor and this lower life to really sort of like take out the hunters here. I don't think he's going to be able to take out the hunters here at all. And again, starting to take damage down to his health now. He's down to 2 bars of life. This is a very sort of sore spot for the Wraith, because it's going to make any future engagements all that much harder. He's going to have to play even better from here on out. Jumps on the support just there and manages to take him out. Excellent opportunity here. If the hunters are wise, they will be scattering now, because although the Wraith is very low, this is a much better time for them to sort of get back, draw back, wait 50 seconds for that next drop until their assault's back with them, and they can dish out the damage to fill out the Wraith. It looks like still taking some pot shots at the Wraith though. Wraith trying to feed, but not quite getting anything done. It seems like both groups don't really want to force an engagement just here, but not really wanting to leave either. The medic pops the personal healing bubble just there. Wraith is trying to get some hits, but just not quite connecting, and the medic dodges out of there. Maybe going to be able to jump on Daisy here at least. Uses the decoy there to try and sort of maneuver around, get a quick feed, but still taking fire. The hunter's not falling for it at all. Uses that warp blast, making full use of those abilities as a movement, using warp blast as a movement more than anything. Excellent sort of excellent way of using that skill to buy himself. Although the Wraith can't fly, he can certainly get a lot of space in the air using that warp blast and using his traversal abilities. Uses the warp blast there to try and engage on the medic. Medic just dodges out of the way, but gets the sneak attack on top of him, and with no other hunters to support him, he's going to get the medic here. Oh, that's an excellent grab for the Wraith. The medic does go down. Looks like the other hunters are just about to come around now, so he's going to have to be careful. There's another sneak attack just there. This is pretty much the perfect engagement for the Wraith. Despite his very low health, he might actually be able to pull something out here, because those hunters being separated and broken by line of sight means he can just keep getting those sneak attacks off, means he can just pounce on them, and with no one to break it, he takes down the Trapper just there as well. He's going to be able to go around and finish off the medic. Oh, but the assault has just dropped in just in time. Not going to be able to go around and finish off the medic, and most definitely the Wraith is going to have to back off here, because he's not going to be able to take on that assault. That assault will be able to just personal shield and just deal so much damage to him with the, like, no life that he has left. essentially he's not going to be able to even 1v1 an assault at this point. He's really going to have to back up, hopefully get some feeding done and stage up, find a nice spot to stage up. Tries to take the wildlife just here, noticing the buff, but the decoy won't automatically target that. So even though he popped Supernova, which actually affects the decoy, makes it a lot more powerful, that tactic only works against the hunter. So sort of realizing he's not going to be able to take out that wildlife without taking too much damage. Sort of going for an abduction just here. Oh, gets an abduction on the assault, but again, can't be 1v1ing this assault just here. And with support from Bucket there as well, that's just a lot of damage that the Wraith can't afford to take right now. So sort of realizing that danger, pops the decoy, which does a little bit of damage, and then backing off, buying himself some ground, sort of eyeing off, still looking for some opportunities, playing very aggressive here, but perhaps a good time to be fleeing. Knocks the birds down. The hunters are not going to have any trouble tracking the monster at the moment, but getting a little bit of extra armor up. Again, looks like he's searching for an engagement, searching for maybe just an opportunity on the hunters being split up. One of them is low, so that sort of thing can be really tempting. And however, this is not where you want to be, trying for an abduction just here through all of the mines and everything. Just manages to skim over the top of the mines without taking any damage though. Jumps on that assault, gets the abduction, a really nice abduction, but again, the personal shield up from the assault is not going to be able to do anything unless he can separate them here. Doesn't want to fight on top of those mines though. That would be an enormous amount of damage. Like, one of those mines going off is going to wipe off his armor completely. Gets the assault with another good abduction there. The Warp Blast knocks him down. Excellent, excellent play. He's managing to separate them, taking a bit of damage from Bucket's drones just there. So, it's questionable. He's taking so much damage. He's done so much damage to the hunters, and he does have a good opportunity, and maybe like 15 seconds here to capitalize on something, but taking way too much damage. I really think he needs to get out of there. It's not worth it. Although there's the potential of him closing out, he's much better off backing off and getting some armor and trying for it again. Like, I think he's just gonna have to let this one go. And he does indeed choose to do that. Tough decision to make because so close and such a good engagement, but with so little health from those engagements earlier. It's just not good. Gives himself a little bit of ground, realizing that the hunters are going to have to take some time to drop in and regroup before they can pursue him. Takes this opportunity to stage up, maxes out Warp Blast just there, so he's looking to do a little bit more damage with it. Warp Blast can be left at one point and used primarily as mobility, but it's also a great initiator. It's a great way to knock hunters around, to separate them, to sort of split them up, and as the Wraith, that's exactly what you want to do, and that extra damage can be a great way to sort of like get a bunch of damage off before the assault can get up his personal shield or something like that, for example. So we do see that at least one of the hunters, I believe it is the assault, is currently very low. And yeah, it is the assault, Snowblind just there. And if he can get a nice abduction on the assault just here, he's preparing, he's getting that preparation abduction, but realizing they're not going to come out that way, and backing off, cancelling the abduction. Looking for an opportunity, just sort of like sneaking around just here. Here he is fully armored up. There is a buff nearby he can get. So it'd be interesting to see if that's something that can have an impact. If you can kind of sneak in, break line of sight, and just like kind of, the hunters don't know where he is exactly right now. If he can, knocking down some fences is going to give him away. He's got to be careful here. If he can sort of sneak that buff without any of the hunters noticing, sort of sniffing them out, making sure they're not looking at him, and then goes in for it. It's an armor regeneration bonus, very nice for the Wraith. With the Wraith not having a high max armor, the armor regeneration can kind of just top you out, and you can just kind of keep poking at the enemy, finding those opportunities. The hunters don't know where the Wraith is, but Daisy does. Daisy keeps sniffing him out. The hunter's not paying attention to Daisy though. They need to pay attention because Daisy knows what's up. Ducks in there, tries to disrupt him a little bit with the decoy, pops the supernova and pops out the decoy again. That does buff up the damage of the decoy if the decoy fights in the supernova area. Trying to just sort of like break him up, maybe force him to go out in that direction, get him to separate up. Anything he can do to sort of force the hunters to peel off or separate or lose line of sight of each other is exactly what the Wraith needs to do. And with so low life and only a small pool of armor that the Wraith has, he's going to really, really need to carefully pick this engagement. This is a good opportunity. Could have went for the abduction there, I feel. Would have gotten like that hunter just like right out of there. No support from any of the hunters. Instead decides to pop the decoy, not wanting to risk it. But I do feel that would have been an excellent time for an abduction. But nonetheless, keep sneaking around, circling around, looking for an engagement, looking for an opportunity, just trying to find that moment where he can pull a hunter out. Oh, going for the abduction. Questionable play because the trapper has put down a bunch of harpoons and harpooned right on top of those mines. That armor basically instantly wiped out. Like, if you can get that perfect abduction, it's good, but with the trapper, like with them being so heavily fortified in that area, it's just such a dangerous play to poke in like straight across all those mines and straight across those harpoons, because those harpoons, if they grab the Wraith, they will stop that abduction. They will stop that Wraith dead in its tracks and pull it onto the mines and pull it in range of all the hunters, and that's exactly where the Wraith doesn't want to be engaging at this point. Using that decoy to sort of give himself some time to maneuver here. He's going to be breaking line of sight just so he doesn't take too much damage. The hunters definitely know where he is, and he is taking some hits now. Sort of closing in, but not going to be able to do too much. Using that decoy at least to try and get rid of some of those fortifications. The armor is down and he's starting to take damage on his health. He is going to have to get out of there. Uses the warp bust to buy himself some mobility, but with only 2 bars of life and with the dome down, unable to feed at the moment, kind of going to have to wait this out until the dome goes down so we can get another feed and look for that engagement again. The hunter's just kind of like getting more and more fortified and getting more and more cohesive as time goes on. It's going to be difficult, but the assault is wandering, and this assault is very low as well. Gets the warp blast, kind of the assault just manages to dodge it, but jumps on top of him. Personal shield is up, and with the other hunters sort of realizing what's going on, best time for the Wraith to escape, I think. But I think that assault's going to be key here as the Wraith feeds up. Maybe this is something that's going through his mind, realizing that the assault has been down twice. You can see those little blocks of, those little kind of like blocks of whited out life section. He is weakened. He's been down twice, and each time that happens, the life bar is reduced, and you eventually only have to knock them down. Like, you don't have to get the full kill. Usually when you go for the knockdown, like when they're full life, they'll go into the down state and you'll have to finish them off. But after they've taken a few down states, it just takes one more knockdown and they actually just straight up die. So I think this assault's going to be key. If he can get this assault unawares, maybe with a pounce, and finish him off, then there's just going to be so much less damage. He's still not going to be able to fight in that area with all those mines. You can see all those mines there, the harpoons, the turrets from Bucket, everything just laid out there, just super fortified. This composition with those mines and Bucket and everything is just like super hard for the Wraith to break. And for a monster that sort of thrives on chaos, this is not a very chaotic situation for him to take advantage of. The hunters are exactly where they want to be right now. It's sort of just running down the clock, and you can see 2 minutes 40 there. And it means the Wraith is essentially forced to engage unless he wants to run out of time just there. So goes for I'm not sure what happened just there. Kind of screen freaked out a little bit. Alright, so it looks like he is being tracked by Bucket's UAV again, so he's not going to be able to kind of like sneak around and find the perfect engagement. Decides to go for the opportunity, gets the abduction on the assault. This could be crucial. The assault is trapped against the wall, goes for the warp blast, the assault dodges out of there. The trapper does put the dome down, the personal shield is up. This is good. This is good because he's not right on top of him right now. The Wraith is not attacking the assault. The personal shield is on cooldown now. If he can get just one more opportunity there and take down that assault, then he's going to be able to just destroy the rest of the hunters, because that's just going to be so much less damage. Still though, like even without the assault, his hunter's still going to be a threat, especially because that Bucket can put out a ton of damage. Goes for the abduction there, manages to scoop up the assault, but the harpoons from the trapper, keeping the Wraith there, manages to get that assault down, and as you see, that assault just went straight down. An opportunity to clean up the medic here as well. The medic almost fully downed as well. If you can get the medic and the assault, the hunters are not going to be able to do anything. They might even be forced to retreat. Sort of losing sight of the medic and not really able to get anything out here. He's going to try and go for the sneaky feed on the assault. Gets one little bar of armor, just enough to sort of keep him going for a little bit, but you can see that armor just gets depleted almost instantly. And this is very difficult for him here. Kind of using that cloak, trying to get the extra bar of armor there, just getting whatever food he can. Has to back off though. So he has about a minute 20 now to sort of take advantage of this situation to really capitalize on this. He's gonna have to get a very quick feed and get in there with maybe like 30 seconds to spare, and to get like an engagement. It's gonna be very fine. It's gonna have to come down to perfect precision timing essentially. So this is gonna be probably enough food for him to go in and engage just here. This will fill him up. He can maybe get back in there with about 45 seconds until the assault drops, and if he can get that perfect engagement right off the bat, he might be enough time to like clean up the medic, or at least just sort of separate them up a little bit, and maybe take them down before that assault gets up. It's gonna be an interesting engagement. This next engagement, I think, is probably going to be a really big one that decides this game. So let's see, sneaking in just here. Oh, they are targeting him. He tries to go for the abduction. Misses, doesn't get anything, gets harpooned as well. Thankfully with that assault gone, there's no mines there. Manages to get Daisy down. That actually could be pretty helpful, because that means no resurrections if, for example, he gets down the trapper. Going for the trapper, probably not going to be too helpful for him, but does manage to deal a fair bit of damage. Might be able to actually finish the trapper just here. I didn't think that would be the best play, but Trapper's in the air, he's going to be able to knock him down, and that's just going to mean a little bit less damage on top of him. Cleans up those turrets from Bucket there, and with the Hunters having scattered, decides to deal a little bit of damage to the power relay. And now, as you can see up the top left there, that has paused the timer. Like, as long as the Wraith is engaging, trying to deal damage to the power relay, dealing damage to the Hunters, that timer will be paused, and he'll be able to buy himself more time before the match. So you can before the match ends. So he can essentially keep sort of buying himself time, but it does force him to keep engaging. Like, he can't just wait around forever. He can't just sneak and wait for that perfect engagement. Jumps on the support just here, manages to down Bucket as well. This is not looking good for the Hunters now, and this is starting to shape up for the Wraith. Somehow managed to pull a match out of this, potentially, out of something that could have been, like, over ages ago with, like, a slither of health. He got down to 1 HP, ladies and gentlemen, and still managed to keep it together. Goes for the scoop on the Trapper, just somehow misses. I don't know how he missed that. And then the dropship has happened. And now he's dealing with 4 Hunters again. Oh, an excellent Warp Blast just there. Might be able to get the Medic here. Medic is downed and dead. That's going to hurt the Hunters right in this next engagement. Now they have to wait a full 2 minutes before they can get any healing. So now any damage done. Oh! Scoops up the Assault through the decoy. Very nice. Popping that decoy, using the decoy to soak, and then scooping through the decoy. Pretty nice play. And then just to kill the Assault just there. Gets that's no Assault, no Medic. Going for the Trapper here. A Warp Blast dealing a ton of damage there. You can see that maxed out Warp Blast doing a big explosion of damage. Managed to get Daisy down and finish out the match. Wow, I don't know how he made a comeback in that one. That was incredibly close. Down on so little life the entire time, just trying to find that engagement and just sort of very slowly picking them apart and wearing them down. Pretty much exactly what the Wraith has to do. Pretty cool match, guys. I enjoyed commentating that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching it. And thanks again to Seth for donating this this match for me to commentate. I appreciate it, man. I have a few others that I might be able to throw up for you guys. So if you want to see more, let me know in the comments below. That's it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.